For years, I have tried to explain this event because at the time, it couldn't have seemed more real. It was 2007, and I was living in a townhouse in Newcastle, not far from a steep cliff by the sea, which had been known to claim a couple of people's lives over the years. I went to bed around 11 p.m., and I was woken up around 30 minutes later when I heard some distinct noises in my bedroom that I can still remember vividly to this day. I could clearly hear footsteps on the carpet walking around my room close to my bed, and occasionally noises that sounded like clothes being dropped on my floor a number of times. It was as if someone was picking up shirts off my bedroom floor and dropping them back down onto the carpet. I was awake during the numerous noises I had heard in what seemed like a period of a couple of minutes. At the time, the most I reacted to this was to slightly open my eyes for a moment. I wasn't really alarmed. Even though I was certain that somebody was in my room, I had reasoned with myself in a sort of sleepy state that my roommate must have come in briefly to look around for something. With this in mind, I thought nothing of it and casually went back to sleep. Not long after I drifted back to sleep, I awoke again to the same noises. There were more footsteps on the carpet, walking around my bed, and the sound of clothes being dropped on the floor again. Then, I heard a louder noise, which suddenly raised my awareness. There was a small plastic wrapper on the floor at the end of my bed. It was likely a thin, transparent seal from packaging I had opened and disregarded onto my floor that I meant to pick up later. I heard the crinkling noise of someone standing on this. In an otherwise silent room, this noise was quite loud. My eyes were suddenly wide open. I was now wide awake and quickly rethought the situation. Someone was in my room. I was certain of that. And it suddenly dawned on me there was no way my roommate or anyone else I know would be walking around my room in the dark while I was sleeping. I had a rush of adrenaline and my heart started pounding out of control. I felt paralyzed with fear, but I had to confront who was there. After a slight moment of hesitation, I sat up very fast and faced towards the end of the bed where the sound came from, quickly enough to startle anyone who would have been there. I saw a lady who appeared to be in her late 50s. She was standing sideways near the end of my bed, wearing a black dress. I could see her silhouette against the white wall behind her, and there was enough moonlight illuminating the room to make out her facial features. I stared directly at her eyes for a few seconds and was thoroughly haunted by her expressionless face staring right back at me over her left shoulder. She had frozen still where she stood on the plastic wrapper. After a few moments, I said, "Hey!" with a sense of fear, struggling a bit to get the word out. She continued to stare at me blank-faced and wide-eyed without flinching, which made my skin crawl more. I was terrified. Not really thinking, I immediately leapt out of my bed to try and grab her. In the process of rapidly hurling myself out of bed towards her, I must have closed my eyes for a fraction of a second because my arms went right through where she was standing just a moment before. She had vanished. I turned on the bedroom light and stood with my back against the wall for a good 10 minutes, trying to comprehend what I had just experienced. The following night, one of my roommates reported seeing an unexplained person in the dark walking past the bathroom door behind him in the mirror while he was shaving. And this was before he knew about my experience from the night before. On the third night, the very moment I was told his experience and we made the connection of the two events, the bathroom door immediately slammed shut upstairs. At the time, there was no one upstairs. It was pitch black, and it couldn't have been the wind that slammed that door. We never did find out who the lady in black was.